Okay, it's a little too dramatic for my tastes, actually. Yeah, that music's way too dramatic, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, way too dramatic. Let me lower that a little bit on my end. Yeah, I'm thinking that's a little too dramatic for my tastes there. Let's go to something a little more chill. It's not. That's... Okay, that's a little better, but... that works a little better, I think. So, how we doing today? How's everyone going now? A little over dramatic, I see. Yeah, definitely. There will be some Lily stuff, some other stuff. There'll be some stuff in general here. Starting off nice and slow, it seems. People are slowly trickling in. The regular crowd shuffles in. Oh, actually, hang on. Yeah, let me, how y'all doing right now? There'd be some Lily responding here. There'd be some other respondings, I should say, as well. Has no quarrel with the boot. Oh, God. An ant has no quarrel with the boot. I love that freaking line. You lit up before going. Not gonna lie. Okay. Valid. How are y'all doing today? It's been a day and a half today, so it's probably gonna be a bit of a low-key, I see that. I'm laughing at my own jokes now. A little bit of a low-key stream today. Everyone doing all right? I didn't see Ant lock in like SpiderMan without jokes. Who knows? Good-natured critiques. Oh well, if you want to critique my content, do it in the comments. That's what I take a look at. Dragon's Dogma. Oh yeah, that's a fair one. Dragon's Dogma is great. I can't wait for the new game. I'm hearing a lot of controversy about it from Chuds, so that means I'm probably gonna love it. That audio is very loud. Actually, lower that a little bit. Looks like that's better. Okay, I don't want to be overpowering. Anyway. Let's do that one. It's been... So this is part of a series I'm working on. Not a series, more like a phase, I guess you can say, of taking a look at some criticism I've received over the course of the last, year or so of doing this. Like, actually 8 months. It's a year at the end of the year would be a year. Around December 30th, I think, was my first upload of my first video. But looking at some criticism I've received, not just from Lily, though there will be Lily criticisms as well, but from other people as well. Now, yesterday, I made a comment about it on the channel. I'm going to bring it up real quick. I did respond to some criticism on another channel's stream. Now, one of my most... I should probably start a little bit back a little bit. I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. If you go on my channel, one of my most controversial... let me move the screen up a little bit. And let me move my face over. Let me move my face over a bit. There we go. That's a little better. One of my more controversial videos, arguably my most controversial, in terms of responses outside of, the channel, was a little video I did a while back. YouTube critics are lying to you. It's a video I feel like could have done a better job with. I've made it in a very rushed period of time. A lot of people responded to it. Yesterday, I responded to one of the critics of said video, which you can see in the community tab, Celtic Phoenix and his crew. I responded to them in a stream where they engaged some questions and feedback they had about the video. They didn't think it was up to their liking. I responded to their comments, and hey, so I'm always welcoming of constructive criticism in general. The Maestro. What Maestro? Is there a Maestro in there? I don't know. So, this is a very interesting conversation. I think it was a very constructive one. I think we engaged in a lot of constructive criticism that I think was really beneficial. And a lot of people had comments about that particular video. A lot of channels made their responses to it, some of whom were covered in the video, so they were a little biased in terms of their feelings about it. But a lot of people had reactions to that YouTuber video. And I mentioned a lot of my specific responses to feedback to that video in that stream. If you are wondering about my response to any possible questions of a constructive nature you may have, that video will probably contain my response about that video in terms of constructive, a good conversation, etc. I'm going to give you an honest critique. I'm ADD-brained and would like to see some more pizzazz in the essays. Like, give the visuals more pop and add some animation to the visuals. Well, that would be good if I had enough time to do all that. A lot of these videos I'm making this in a span of a week and a half, really. So it's a little tricky with some of them. Baichi Apiodera, thank you for the super chat. Oh, I have to raise you as a mod now. Not able to give a lot of time due to current situation. Not able to give a lot due to current situation, but am showing support for you, big guy. We'll enjoy a hopefully chill stream and give happy. Thank you so much. And by the way, Baichi is one of many new mods who is now, you are now a mod, Baichi, on both Discord and on here. So, and if I see the other mods who just joined up, I'm going to add them as mods too in chat. If you're a mod, just say hi and I'll add you. I can't, I may not, I don't have an eye in the chat entirely. So, found your channel last night watching the Lily Pokemon response, and you were cracking me up so hard. You are a king. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And again, a lot of this is, you know, again, a lot of my responses to other pieces of media, they're just that. They're just responses. They're just engaging with ideas. Sorry if I seem a little scatterbrained. It's been an exhausting day, and I didn't get much sleep last night. This stream went on for 5 hours last night, so by the time I was done, I was like really done. But yeah, no. So it's my opinion that media is ultimately a conversation, right? It's a conversation between multiple different people, different ideas, different thoughts, and I think by engaging in conversation, we can come to a further understanding of the media in question. Now, I'm going to play a little bit of Celtic Phoenix's video for a bit, just to give myself a little bit of time to recover my brain. I'm going to turn off the music here. To give you an idea of what I mean when I say constructive criticism. Put the volume a little bit. Because, ultimately speaking, there's two kinds of criticism out there. There's constructive and not constructive. Constructive criticism is designed to help you improve as a creator, as a talent, whatever it might be. It's designed to ask to push against some of your thoughts. You know, hey, why did you say a certain thing the way you said it? Why did you make this choice editing? Why did you make this choice writing? What did you research? How much did you research? Stuff like that. And constructive criticism helps push against what you do to say, hey, you did this one time. What was the mentality behind that? Did you make the best choice? Was there maybe a better option you could have taken? So I'm going to play a little bit of this for you guys before moving on to not as constructive criticism and some other constructive criticism I've seen for other videos. So let's start off with this real quick. And again, I do recommend you watch the whole video. I think it's, you know, I will say there's a very constructive conversation. I think it's worth engaging in the whole thing. But I do want to show you an example of this week's, my attempt this week to engage more with the criticism I've received. So let's take a look. Oh, there's no audio on
Catholic. Learning about exorcism in the church and just being like, yeah, you need like 5.
That's a weird part to start off on, actually. So the format is a kind of an open forum conversation. Apparently, we're talking about exorcisms at that point. Talking, but you know, when it came to this, the last week, really, I really realized that I hadn't engaged enough with criticism of my points. You know, because you know, online you get a lot of criticism that's not like good faith. You get a lot of criticism that's really bad faith. They just want to, like, you know, laugh at you or whatever. And you're kind of like, okay, you got a thick skin to it. You know, you're kind of like, okay, this is, you know, whatever, who cares? Okay, moving on.
I think I know a name for the phenomena that you're talking about. It's called Twitter trauma.
Yeah. Oh, I can get into that too. Oh, I have tons of that. I can talk to a therapist probably about that shit. But you know, it's like, but the last week, you know, obviously, this video is not the only thing I've made. I've had a few videos that came up recently were fairly popular about Lily Orchard. And the thing that struck me was how... Now, yes, before you say anything, I do resemble the Canadians from South Park in this video. I'm just a little head that bobs up and down when I talk. But the idea of this is essentially that, you know, I'll summarize what I said right here, so I'm not just stealing all of their content. I do recommend you take a look at the stream if you have the time. It is 5 hours long, so take it in chunks, jump around. That's fine. I know they're coming up with a condensed version that will cut some of the chatter out, which is good. But the idea of it is, I've been looking at Lily's stuff for so long, and you watch Lily's content, you see how she responds to feedback, which we'll get to. We'll get to that. You realize that she was just rejecting criticism outright. And by that nature, you look at that and you go, well, you're not learning anything from any of the feedback. You're labeling all your critics with the same brush. And as a result, you're not really engaging with anything anyone's saying. And so I figured, do I do that? Do I brush aside criticism? I would say no. But, you never know. I wanted to avoid being someone who ignores his critics and doesn't engage with them. Because I think there is value to have reaching across the aisle to an extent. And I'll get to the extent and the limits of that very shortly. But for this stream, what I did was I sat down with some people who were very critical of my YouTubers Are Lying to You video, and kind of engage with them, asking what their feedback was. And I think I got to some good points. I'm going to try to find a point specific that was really good as an example. Though, again, this is 5 hours long, so I'm going to take a few seconds of hunting. There are a lot of weird topics in this video.
Quite a few questions. Kind of wanted to...
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, wow, everyone just cut out.
Some? Can you send them my way? I'm kidding.
Also, the Ryerson did was also very atrocious.
Did I cut out? Did you guys cut out?
Yeah.
As you can see, there were it was feedback for them as well. In this case, their internet was terrible. Let me skip ahead a little bit. I think that was probably...
Oh, it's fine. Though I do kind of I honestly, I want to move into the main questions. Because
here's an example.
We have been sitting here for like...
My mic is low right now?
Kaiser's mic is low right now? You are a little quiet, but not like the most.
Okay.
He just Glory be to Tesla!
Patents. He just stole patents at he just stole inventions that people didn't patent yet and made the patents.
We got into an argument about Thomas Edison and why he is a thief of patents and ideas. Thomas Edison, by the way, for those who don't know, he didn't actually invent half of what he claims he invented. He just took inventions that other people had made and put patents on it, claiming credit for the invention when someone else made it. So he's always credited, he made 100 things, yada, 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 but he really only made a few things. Anyway, jumping ahead.
This information you now have to multiple different uses. So
here you go.
Critical thought on one hand to the TLDR version of what I just said, how things work, and what you can do with them once you figure out how they work.
Okay.
Application and mechanics.
I don't think he was lying in this. If he recognized that they didn't have rain machines and the rest of them, I think he was too lazy to take it out. Like, I don't know if that still qualifies as lying, but...
Yeah, okay, so it's getting a little harder to find the specific points we're talking about.
Probably dozens of different comics.
Oh, no, it's 100...
100?
It's 120, don't worry about it, you're fine.
Dingle Bingle, thank you for the super chat. Who, Elon Musk or Thomas Edison? Thomas Edison. They were praising Nikola Tesla, but they realized as they were saying praise Tesla, that someone might hear that out of context and think they're talking about, Tesla the company, not Tesla the person. It was good. And again, I don't want to, I think one important thing with these discussions, I'm seeing I'm building into my my vibe right now. Let me take off the shirt so I can better articulate and gestate and gesture or whatever what I'm trying to do. So, like, again, a lot of these discussions, they're very straightforward. They're very much a matter of, hey, I disagree with something you said. And their initial criticism was at the time the video came out. So it wasn't like they made one like a month later or whatever. But, yeah, no. So they had some feedback about the video. They disagreed with me in a few points. And we went over it. We discussed it. I didn't really give up the idea that had changed my mind, particularly about some of the specifics I said. I didn't give way to the argument I had, but I did argue that the execution of some of my arguments wasn't as strong as it could have been, and that's totally valid. I agree with that. I do think, though, that the best example of responding to constructive criticism is not in a debate. though this was a discussion, like more of a conversation, not a debate necessarily. This was not a debate at all. This is more like an interview conversation. Debating is not really what I think is what I was trying to do with any of this. I don't believe in... I don't really think you should really... If someone gives you criticism about like your video, you should probably listen to them and say, oh, hey, here's what they said, here's what you think, what have you. And a lot of the critics use common points they discussed. But when it comes to responding to criticism, I think one of the best points is your content improving. Oh, we have a lot of people in the chat. That's nice. So, Dangle Bangle, thank you for the super chat. Isn't it funny Elon Musk and Edison were almost one-to-one historical doppelgangers? By the way, please tell stream about that Dr. Disrespect DLC lore. Oh, God. Dr. Disrespect, who has been deplatformed because he is, in fact, a predator, at one point had a DLC in the game Predator, one of the Predator games, as a predator skin, which is very funny because he is, in fact, a predator. Let me see if I can find a clip of that. Dr. Disrespect Predator DLC. Oh, that's not. Oh, here we go. I think this is in here somewhere. Nope, it's on here. Never mind. I guess they got rid of it. It was in Predator Hunting Ground, I'm pretty sure. But he's a skin for the Predator. They added him as a skin, which is, I guess they removed all evidence of it because I don't see Dr. Disrespect on here as a Predator. Oh, here we go. This is the video.
This DLC predicted the future. Please tell me this isn't real. Predator Hunting Grounds, Doctor.
Yeah, so he was in Predator Hunting Grounds as a costume for DLC. So it was almost like it was meant to be, Anyway, a life well lived is growing from feedback. So let me look at a few key points of criticism that were addressed to my YouTubers Are Wrong video that I think I've addressed in subsequent videos. Let me address a few things I criticized about it myself. For one, it's a 48-minute video covering way too big a set of ideas. So we're talking about one video that's covering dozens of different critics, dozens of different deceptive practices that some critics have taken, or misleading, you could say, either intentionally or unintentionally inaccurate information, or in some cases, maybe deliberately misleading for a point, for monetary gain. That's a lot to prove in one video. To prove that a bunch of critics are A, not telling the truth, and B, are doing it for an intention. It's way too complicated for just a simple overview. And I always viewed this video as a first chapter, an introduction to a bigger argument, which is to say, the discussion of bad faith criticism and of ultimately grifting. And I have some plans to cover specific grifting attempts and bad faith criticism in more detail. The Spider-Man Batman video. That's my most popular video. Not without flaws, of course, but it's pretty popular. Anyway, so the big thing was I bit off more than I can chew. The second big thing, I did the whole video in 4 days. From the beginning of drafting to the end of editing, it took 4 days to make the YouTube Critics Are Lying to You video, which is too short a period of time to thoroughly explore a topic like that. It's too big. This really is the introduction. It's not the end of a conversation. But because this was the video that came out and got a lot of attention, it became the only part of the conversation. And there are issues with it, undeniably. Some bits aren't as researched as they could be. Some information is misleading in terms of, ironically, because the conversation wasn't complete. It was very abridged. And also, and this is an ironic little twist, I was afraid to include longer clips of the people I was commenting on because I was afraid that they would copyright strike the video in protest. I know, ironic in hindsight. have I considered a 2-week turnaround? I've been doing that more, actually. So my more recent videos, I've been extending the amount of time I work on them, kind of scripting them a week before I start editing them, and like trying to make sure everything's more staggered out to give myself a little bit more time. So while it is week to week to week, there are a few videos that took a little longer. The rewriting Pokemon video, for example, that was ultimately a 2-week affair. The Spider-Man Legally Can't Be Buy one, that was a week. That was a little easier to do because it was easier to write, easier to film, easier to discuss. The Lily Orchard doesn't understand writing, that was a 2-week period. That was a long one. So again, different videos take a longer period of time. Actually, the flattening of Disney was technically a month in the oven. This one right here was a month of work, essentially. I think it's one of my better videos, I would say. So yeah, so some of these videos have been taking longer to do, and I think that the results speak for themselves. I want to showcase briefly some of my editing choices from the YouTube Critics Are Lying to You video, and then I'm going to compare it to a later video to demonstrate how I've listened to criticism and incorporated it into my style in order to get better at the craft. Take a look. These critics seem to believe. First off, the first improvement, getting a better camera. That was one thing I did for sure. Also, I hate this haircut. My haircut here is terrible. I look like I just walked out of the shower, which I probably did. I'm not sure. So let's go right here. Let's go at the beginning right here. Media publishing, designed to draw hate clicks. And if I'm going to draw criticism, it's going to be because I said something ridiculous. I don't want to be associated with someone else's bad media takes. I want to be associated with my own.
So apparently Anthony Gramuglia was uber triggered by the most 3 devastating sentences he's ever heard. Peter Parker isn't gay. There's 60 plus years of comics proving this. Stop ruining characters by playing politics. So, like a typical precious snowflake, Anthony penned a 1,400 word rant just to call me a homophobe.
So, this is the kind of editing I would incorporate in this video, mainly because I was kind of drafting the ideas alongside the edits. So, the lighting makes me look like a scruffy beard. Yeah, so one thing I got invested in was a box light shortly after this video. So, that was a major thing I did. You look like our generation's Cillian Murphy. I'm glad you said that. But again, this is the kind of editing I incorporated. And this is like a 3-4 second image, right? If you didn't pause to read this, you're lost. You missed the point. You just had a clip out of context. Now, I want to show you the same clip that I just used here. Well, not the same one, but a similar one. Better incorporated in my Spider-Man video I just released.
The 20 years of writing pap and...
Sure. He won't kill unless it's out of self-defense. He won't sell drugs. Cohen and Parker do end up going, I think is interesting, about Sun Spider. So we have a gay spider person in a movie now. Granted, the film doesn't explicitly showcase her sexuality, but hey, that's still something incredible. So ultimately, in the years following my article, everything I asked for happened. And in a way where you probably didn't even notice it happened at all. If you're an average fan of Spider-Man, you probably don't know about any of these characters. So it begs the question why people thought I was being so unreasonable for making this statement when it's happened and you don't even notice.
Peter Parker isn't gay.
See, same clip.
There's 60 plus years of comics proving this. Stop ruining characters by playing politics.
Multiple videos, Reddit threads, one after the other, going on about how somehow this was the worst idea in the world. Spider-Man has always been straight. Spider-Man has always been a man. Spider-Man has always been white.
You said, quote, beyond homophobia, is there any good reason why Spider-Man can't be any sexual orientation other than straight? Yes, because he's got over 60 years of history banging women.
So, when we break away from that, why doesn't the world end? So right there, structurally, the clip is incorporated into the video. The commentary engages with the clip that's verbal. And while there is visuals on screen, it is the other person's visuals, not my own, and a little citation for the clip. This allows you to better understand what's happening and better communicate the information presented. It's a better incorporation of the media and information into the video. That right there is a case where constructive criticism helped make the videos that followed all the better. And again, another case in point was I didn't incorporate enough media analysis with individual clips. I took them out of context, they said, in this video. Well, come a month later, we had this Star Wars video out of control, where I tried to incorporate them a little stronger. So take a look at this. Erroneous. All of this we have seen so far with various Acolyte user reviews. What makes this more complicated is all the Acolyte critics are also simultaneously saying, hey, no one's watching the Acolyte. So which is it? Either the Acolyte is on track to be one of the most widely watched things ever, surpassing the Batman and the Mandalorian in terms of relevancy, or these reviews are fake, or the hype, or it's part of a movement to lower the audience rating on the Acolyte for arbitrary reasons, because people care about that sort of thing, I guess.
I used to think that it would take one really great Star Wars project to bring all of us together. But now I realize it takes one really bad Star Wars project to unite so many of us. I remember during the live stream for episode 3 of The Acolyte, there were so many of you at the end that were saying, I was totally on board with episode 1 and 2. In fact, I thought all you guys were toxic for not liking it, this and that, but this is too much. I can't take this. This is bullshit. And so many people are now changing tune and kind of waking up. And I think, it's interesting. There's a lot.
I'm sorry, changing tune. The show was getting review bombed from the first episode. What are you talking about, man? And some of the criticisms themselves have been very strange. For example, one criticism I saw was from a user on Twitter called That Star Wars Girl, who has amassed a small following. She argued that the character's soul was named in reference to the capital of South Korea. So again, direct examples, directly engaging in the media itself, incorporating into the scripting phase, visually connecting it, and having clips like visuals like this linger on screen longer, so you can read it, so you can register it, while not completely changing the way you're looking at the screen. A lot of the images and inserts I've included have been in the same area on the screen, so your eye is visually drawn to it. And it's overlaying points of visual interest. And some of the criticism, you see there's some stuff right here. Oh, that's why it looks weird. I zoomed in too much. I guess I had the camera angled in a weird way. But yeah, that's an example right there, where a simple little fix, so much better at incorporating the information at play. So that right there is a good example of how to learn from constructive criticism and incorporate it in your further responses. So let's click away from myself. So I think that's the best way of looking at criticism. Showing and demonstrating that, hey, you listen to the feedback and you developed your projects to be better. So this begs the question, then, why so often, when we're discussing media, when we're discussing any of this, do we get comments saying, hey, you're going to respond to that feedback? You're going to respond to that criticism you sent? You're going to respond to the video that was made about you? What's the point? What do you want me to do? The problem there is that the best response to criticism is to show growth, which I think I've done. So why respond to, say, certain videos made about me, of which there are several? Let me go through here. Let's go through Anthony Gramiglia YouTube critics. That's a simple way of looking at it. So again, we have this recent video, and we have these two videos. One by Moeller, the very famously the quote-unquote long man critic, and a highlight video of his 7-hour video response to my 48-minute video. Said, highlight reel is about an hour, and I can't complain too much because I have made long videos, so I can't say it's long, therefore bad. But I'm not gonna. My original plan was to just watch the EFAP video and respond bit by bit by bit to it. But then I skimmed through it and realized it was very boring. I skipped back and forth. I rewatched it a couple times. I rewatched as best I could. Problem is, video is very slow. I'm going to play a little bit of it right now for everyone, just so you have a sense of the pacing of it and the cadence and what have you.
If anything, that I hadn't brought it up.
Heck yeah.
I think so.
Let's skip ahead.
Face.
Everything wrong with is just a manifestation of that.
So this is not the first time I've discussed bad media criticism on my channel. And it's not going to be the last time either.
What a pointless fucking thing to say, by the way.
All right, you will do this again in the future. All right.
I've done this before, and I shall do it again. Damn it.
Yeah, I'll keep my eyes open for that.
Thanks
Anthony
for letting me know, dude.
Gramuglia.
I'll get you, darn it.
As you can see, it's full of very, very, very useful criticism that I've incorporated all over the place. But the problem is, it's just kind of like that. It just kind of goes on and on and on. Okay, keep in mind, this clip right here is about 20 minutes into the video, and this is the 5-hour mark. So I could go through it all, but, like, what's the point? You know? It's just a long video. And quite honestly, going by point by point by point isn't as useful to me as hearing the points, finding the good points, and growing from that. And they are good points here. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here to find a decent
anything
point.
that I hadn't brought it up. Fault is on characterization, but it's fine with plot, proving what? That it's not just plot that matters in film. Man, you've nailed it, dude.
You did it.
That right there isn't very useful, but
it's all backed with synopsis who doing a start to end. He's like, character chooses
It's
to
how
do
world
X,
building
Y,
and
yeah.
the setting intercepts with why do characters do things. The
He was using
emergent
decent.
result of that is the plot is that these things happen because how characters intersect with their world. And like if we take the tears and rain at the end of Blade Runner here, it's why is Deckard alive to have this conversation? Because Roy Batty saved him. Why would Roy Batty save them? Well, it's because Roy Batty's explaining part of this to him right now, and it all intersects together. It's hard to really, basically impossible to take one thing out entirely because it's all related. It all goes together. It's like your own life.
Again, they're saying a point, but I don't think it's as criticism. They're just talking about the movie, Blade Runner. So that's not useful for me either.
Why would you lie? Why would somebody lie?
Yes,
Not you,
why would
of course.
somebody, yes.
No,
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
The problem with this kind of content, responding to it like this, is that you're going to get a lot of points that are just in jokes for the video, and you're going to get gags about it. So what's the point of listening to the whole thing on stream? What's more useful is watching the whole thing on your own and going like, okay, here's what I can use, here's what I can't use, and going from there. Because the thing is, there are two kinds of criticism, constructive and not useful. The reality is this. If you're going to listen to someone criticizing you, some of it may have use, even if it's from someone you're not a fan of. That's the reality of it. And again, they make a bunch of comments about the editing choices, about the evidence used to support arguments. That's useful. That's decently useful, and you can learn from it even if they're insulting you to your face. But the majority of it's not useful. The majority of it's just looking at random bits and not saying all that much. Baichi Apiadera, thank you for the super chat. This is the first time hearing the voices of the EFAP. They sound like the snob that tried to flex on me using Bubblegum Crisis when I had it on me. Oh, like they were saying, I bet you haven't seen Bubblegum Crisis. Meanwhile, you have the box set at home and you're buying a physical copy of the DVD. Yeah, I know what you mean there. Exactly. It's like they're explaining the plot of Blade Runner to me when I'm describing the plot of Blade Runner. It's like, okay, what are you going to do about that? Okay, that's great. You saw Blade Runner 2. Fantastic. Again, the thing is ultimately this. We can nitpick, we can argue. I don't find that interesting to me. I find what's more interesting is taking the nuggets of useful information and growing from it. They all spend an obscene amount of time obsessing over my bookshelf. I think it's a little more organized now, but what are you going to do? They're books. You read them, right? Now, a lot of people were saying, play the whole video on stream and make it a 14-hour stream response to one of these videos? No, by no means. I have a life. I have work in the morning. I can't do that. But that kind of criticism, they are nuggets that are useful. And I can learn from them. But here's the thing. What is more beneficial? Me just watching bit by bit by bit on live to hear criticism, or privately listening to it, privately hearing the best bits and going, okay, I see what they're coming from here. I can take that and I can better incorporate my evidence to the video. I can better edit this one scene. And then demonstrate not through a live stream, but through constant flow of material. That works better. I think the latter is more useful. And the latter is what I've done. The latter is what I've chosen to do because I don't think just watching someone talk about you for like 7 hours is all that practical of a use of your time. You know, it's not useful to me. Dango Bangle, thank you for the super chat. That Arthur clip reminded me that people like Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, and other grifters get paid by a foreign government to lie all day. Yeah, that's a thing too. If you haven't seen Pillar of Garbage's most recent video, well, not his most recent, his second most recent, Beyond the Grifterverse, you should watch this. This goes into like a lot of detail about like the most recent revelation that the Russian government has funded a lot of right-wing organizations, either directly or indirectly, to kind of spout information. A lot of these people, though, were unaware they were being funded because they were being paid by a sponsorship deal or something like that, and had no idea in some cases. So it's just interesting how that works out, isn't it? Again, a lot of these organizations and groups are connected in some way. These people don't like... And the thing is also this. It's not like they're a secret group in the shadows that are all talking to each other. It's a group of people who are running a business, have interconnectivity with other businesses that are in similar fields that can support each other to turn a profit. That's what it comes down to. Media is a business, ultimately speaking. Even what I'm doing right now is technically a business. I am technically running a independent media organization, that being my channel, to show you stuff for your entertainment or for your information. At the end of the day, that's what we all are. The difference is how upfront we are, how personal we are, and how seriously we take it. I thankfully don't take myself seriously whatsoever, so that allows me to kind of go, okay, I can just say what I want. But a lot of these people have agendas that they want to push. Oh, Lauren Chen did get arrested for it. Okay, I love it. Now. They are, of course, pieces of criticism you get that aren't very useful. Also, by the way, I will say this. Pillar of Garbage has given me feedback. That was very useful when I first started out. Pillar of Garbage's constructive feedback was extremely beneficial to me when I started out. Dango Bangle, thank you for the super chat. Everyone knew where the money came from. Don't defend. Yeah, I'm not defending. Mainly because I'm convinced some of them just didn't... were not very intelligent. I don't think they saw money checks coming in and probably knew what it was, but refused to ask questions. But we can't say for a fact they knew, because we literally can't prove it. We can prove that either they were extremely selfishly taking money from the Russian government or extremely unwilling to ask questions as to where the money magically materialized from and why they were being paid it. So either they were assets for a rival government or very, very dumb. And I'm not sure either of those are a defense to say. Either you're really dumb or you're a traitor to the country. Both options don't do well for them. Mystic Blue, thank you for the super chat. As an animator, I hate hearing animation is a genre. Like, no, it's a medium. It's an art. It is nothing. It is another way to get to tell a story for countless genres. Yeah, agreed. Okay, this beer's trying to go, I think, a little bit. Saying December. Okay, I'm not so sure about this one. This beer might not be good. It's a little skunked, I think. No, okay, just the top of it looks like it was skunked. Okay, that's fine. Actually, it's not that good. Okay, maybe I won't finish that. But, yeah, no, 100%. Animation is a medium. It is a medium through which tons and tons of genres can actually go through. There is no comparison to, say, Evangelion, to, say, Cyber 6, to quote our most recent live stream. Wait, are you saying that Hamtaro and Berserk aren't exactly the same? And again, what I was saying was Pillar of Garbage offered some really great feedback to me personally when I first was starting out. He said, when you're including a clip from someone, cut it off after 9 seconds because, you know, that way it's a simple clip. You're keeping it nice and focused. It was a really good piece of advice to me personally that I thought was really good as a YouTuber. And all of that was beneficial to me. It was necessary, constructive criticism that benefited my products and my content all together at the end. And that was really helpful. And that helps you. If you're not open to criticism, you'll never improve. Which is why I'm going to have to bring up the person that you all want me to talk about, and that's Lily Orchard. Because she has had some responses to my criticism recently. And I'm going to play that for you right now. Actually, hang on. Let me get the... let me just... Here we go. 1 second. Where was it? Oh, here we go.
Worst feeling with some piss entity.
Oh, here you go. Cool. So, let me adjust all this. Now, this is a clip that was taken from her recent live stream. Now, just a quick 12-second clip. Out of context, that is true. It is out of context. So, if you think it's not good enough or feedback or good enough, then don't worry about it. This is entirely just a quick little thing that I think is important to the discussion in regards to receiving criticism.
Worst feeling with some piss entity. You've been doing something you were previously excited about. It's all right. He'll piss off the wrong person one day, and they'll just knock all of his teeth out. They'll make him bite the curb. Worst feeling with some piss.
Sorry, I played it a second time. So Lily wants me to get my teeth beaten out and then bite a curb, which is to simply say, if you haven't seen American History X, you won't know what the reference is of. But again, that right there is a case of someone who refuses to listen to criticism. And that's what I want to avoid doing. I don't want to be someone like her who hears, oh, hey, I heard you were criticizing me. That means that I think you're secretly like the worst human being in the world and have some secret agenda to destroy my life. What she says to her critics is that she wants them to be hurt. And it's not the only time she's done that. I'm going to also play another clip too. One that's a little older. I think this is it.
Literacy.
Yeah. I mean, like, one of them, Ant, keeps fucking shilling a book that he has just... that he's
a different one,
still working on and has been working on for years.
When am I playing this one? Odd.
I'm still working on it. Sure you are, dude. That book's coming out any day now, and it's gonna be a smash hit, like faster than the speed of love.
This clip was taken from a video about 3 days ago. And the very next day, I sent my book to my editor for its final draft. My book is almost complete, and I'm glad to announce, Lily. Thank you for segueing, Lily. I really appreciate the introduction to my work right there. My book is coming out probably within the next year, as a matter of fact. Once I finish this draft, which is going to be around mid-November, I think Charlie said. You, of course, know Charlie, my editor. They have been on stream more than once. Let me get an actual... Let me get an actual clip of Charlie here, so you know who Charlie is. If you haven't followed me for too long, then you may not know who Charlie is. Charlie is... Here's Charlie right here. Most recently showed up in this video. And I do believe this is Charlie right here. We are now live. Welcome, everyone.
I'm trying to be like... Even just to be like, hey, if you're under 18, don't go here. But then obviously to make other notes if more extreme things are happening. If that exists, that's not okay.
So Charlie there, they have the final draft of my book. May have a few more notes to suggest. Maybe a few things, hey, here and there you can improve this little thing, tweak it a little bit. But the book is almost done. And from there, I'll be able to shill it for a whole bunch of months as we get to the pre-launch. I want to say, Lily, that again, what did you say 3 days ago, Lily? What was that you had just said? Let me play that again, actually, with this extra context.
Literacy.
Yeah. I mean, like, one of them, Ant, keeps fucking shilling a book that he's still working on and has been working on for years.
Yeah. Still working on the final draft, too, Lily.
I'm still working on it. Sure you are, dude. That book's coming out any day now, and it's gonna be a smash hit. Like,
oh, irony, Lily. Oh, you had to say that. You had to say that, and thus the book finished itself. Or at least it's almost finished. Again, it's still a final draft. There's still some things that have to be polished, but hey, the core bits that matter, they're there. And the people who've read it say it's pretty good. We'll find out. What's the book about? Well, the book is we talking about Charlie the Unicorn? No, we're talking about Charlie Knight, who is a fantastic editor and a writer themselves, who's working on a book about that they have tentatively titled Butt Pirates. Charlie, I'm unsurprised. And as you can tell from Charlie's background here, yes, Charlie, they are in fact a huge fan of Dragon Age. That is what you can tell from that background Charlie has. Totally a Dragon Age fan. Anyway, my book is going to be a fantasy story. Well, it is a fantasy story. It's a fantasy heist gone wrong. It's heavily inspired by the life of, and I'm going to mangle this last name because I'm terrible with last names in general and names as a whole, Julie Debigny, who I'm sure that's not how you pronounce her name. Let me get an actual pronunciation of her name. An actual pronunciation of her name.
Julie d'Aubigny was a famous 17th century French opera singer who once took the holy vows to enter a convent just so she could have sex with a nun. She also had a habit of seducing women was an opera singer and master duelist. Once broke into a convent and run away with one of the nuns. She was an burning down the building to cover her tracks and regularly seduced both men and women she could have sex with another.
Okay, so how do you pronounce that name again?
Julie d'Aubigny was a
Debigny. So Julie Debigny. Okay, I'll get the hang of it. I'll get the hang of that name. But yeah, heavily inspired by the mythology around Julie Debigny, who was a famous opera singer in 17th century France, also a duelist who would duel multiple men for their wives. She was extremely bisexual. One time she dated, I think it was the daughter of either a duke, or a marquis or something like that, or a lesser lord. And this girl's father was like, no, you've been soiled by this beloved opera singer. I'm going to send you to the nunnery, and that's going to be to purge you of your sins. You have to become a nun. So Julie d'Aubigny decided to go to said nunnery and convent, become a nun, just to break her girlfriend out of the nunnery. And they set fire to the nunnery to hide their escape and make it look like this girl had died horribly in the nunnery. They then broke up a few weeks later. But you know what? It's the thought that counts. And of course, Julie d'Aubigny was very, very widely known among Japanese creators as the inspiration for two particular characters. I'm going to let you guess. So, chat, I'm going to let you guess. Which two anime characters did you think that Julie d'Aubigny, a French duelist opera singer / part-time nun, part-time lady breaker, lady, what I'm trying to say. Well, who do you think inspired her? Who do you guys think? I'll let chat decide. Chat, tell me. Utena? Yeah, Utena is one of the two characters that she very famously inspired. Another character, though, aside from Utena, a more not a Fate character might also be, I think Fate not Goku. It's not Goku. It is definitely not Goku. Utena, yes. Another famous character from a very well-known manga, a beloved manga, one might say. One that I haven't gotten a chance to talk about in this channel too often. It's not Goku. It's not Goku, chat. Sailor Uranus, good guess. Not quite the character I'm thinking of, because this character inspired Sailor Uranus. Yes, someone in chat has said it. Lady Oscar from The Rose of Versailles. Yes. Yes, The Rose of Versailles. One of the great classic anime and manga. Actually, Berserk was heavily inspired by Rose of Versailles, so that works too. The Lady Oscar, who was raised as a boy by her father to become the captain of the guard. I freaking love Rose of Versailles. It is a great classic 70s. You've never heard of the Rose of Versailles. Okay, hang on. Okay, hang on. We're going to the shelf, all right? We're going to the shelf. You know it's a good stream when that starts happening. The Rose of Versailles is a great... I'm rereading it actually again right now, actually. I was reading it when editing my book. Rose of Versailles, read it. It's good. And yes, I have tissues as bookmarks. Sue me. Anyway, so that's an example right there of a classic character, also inspired by Julie de Bigny. Dangle Bangle, thank you again for the super chat. You're the MVP today. I need you to put me in contact with someone who can help me rework my dumb Naruto role reverse fanfic into a full-blown Star Trek-esque story. I do know someone who can do that, actually. They've been on a stream, actually. I would probably say the other person in the stream, Charlie, could handle that for you. Right here. I think I have their contact information in the stream, but you know, they're pretty good. Good author. I'll show the book again if you want. All right. So, point of the matter is, we got a little sidetracked here. I did play the wrong clip unironically, because I did want to show my book, which is I'll have the elevator pitch for it soon. Hopefully I have some cover art for it soon too to show you within the next few months, and from there I can publish it. I'm pretty excited about it too. In case you can't tell, I'm just glad to have the book finished. It's been years of working on different books. Now, I will say this: Lily was wrong about another thing. I was not working on the same book for years. I was working on multiple other books for years. The problem is I kept finishing them and didn't like them, so I chucked them. There are about 9 different finished books on my hard drive I have not published because I just chucked them. I didn't like how they read. One was a Prohibition era fantasy story about alcohol that could be used as a magical fuel. I didn't like how that turned out. The plot was too generic. There was another one that was I guess it was a retro-futuristic story, like a cyberpunk story from the 80s using 80s technology. I didn't like how that turned out. I felt it was a little too... I felt the main character was too pathetic, so I kind of tossed it. And it took a little slow to get started. But I thought it was really... I've had a lot of good stories I've written over the years. I wrote a whole series of fairy tale-inspired fantasy that I chucked when I was in college. So I've written a ton, but I just never felt satisfied with it. Until now, I feel satisfied with this. And that's why, of all the works I've ever worked on, this will be the first one to see it all the way to the end. Maybe I'll take them off the shelf at some point and rework them too. I think they're good concepts, but again, the problem was always the characters. I didn't believe the characters in the story, so that's probably something I'll work on if I revisit them. But anyway, the thing I did want to show you though was another clip of Lily's, ironically from the same set of streams. This right here.
That's all right. She'll do another response. She'll do another response video to my video on Nom Nom Nami, and I'll send her for another 10-day streaming timeout.
That's Lily saying that she abused the copyright system to put her critics in timeout. You see, that's another thing too. That's why I'm doing all this, responding to criticism, because it's not about Mueller. It's not about Mahler. It's not about Celtic Phoenix. It's not about any of the people who had criticisms of my videos. It's all about that. That's why I'm doing this week of engaging with criticism, because you see someone respond to criticism, fair criticism of her, and her response, silencing them, threatening them, telling them that they're dangerous, telling them that they should be curb stomped. That's not good. That's horrendous, actually. And it's not what I would ever want to ever indicate, even to my most vitriolic, angry critic. All criticism should be heard to some degree. Some isn't useful, and you can dismiss it, which I've done. I've dismissed useless criticism to me, but I've taken in the constructive stuff, and I think that the ultimate response to that critical thought is to make the videos better. Ziniambe, Zamambine, thank you for the super chat. Obligatory Utena reference. Yeah, you gotta have an Utena reference somewhere. Utena. Gotta have an Utena reference. Yeah, but again, so aside from the fact that Lily said something that even got the attention of YouTube when I tagged them on Twitter, by the way, Lily, if your YouTube account ever gets deleted within the next week or so, that was me. I reached out to YouTube and told them about your comments on how you abuse their copyright system. That was me. Not because you're a critic, but because you're just abusing the system and power that you have available to you to silence critics. And I find that repulsive. But this is not a Lily stream. This is just happens to be a point where Lily is intersecting with the point of the discussion. No. The point is that I saw how Lily treated her critics, and that deeply bothered me. And so I want to be fair to my critics, even though some of them don't offer useful criticism to me personally. That doesn't benefit me, doesn't help me, and that's important to note. So, how do I define useful criticism and unuseful criticism? It's a fair point. Absorbent individual, thank you for the super chat. I'm an aspiring screenwriter. Any advice? Yes, a few pieces of advice. I do recommend that you read Save the Cat. It's a very important, influential book that a lot of screenwriters have used to figure out structure. Again, hero's journey is one thing. Sure, the hero's journey is overused, though. Save the Cat is more a page-by-page breakdown of how you want to organize your script, how you want to keep certain sequences happening, and that'll give you ideas on how to write the standard script. And if you know the standard script, you can understand how to innovate on that. It's like with Picasso. You have to learn how to paint everything perfectly before you can break the rules. And that's very important. So learn the structures of screenwriting, learn that thoroughly, study it, study the perfect scripts, quote unquote, and then break the rules. But you have to know how to do, you have to know how to do it right before you can innovate upon it. Because if you don't know how to innovate on something, because if you don't know what something is, you can't innovate upon it. That's a good piece of advice my teachers gave me when I was studying. Dashing Char, thank you for the super chat. Tell Lily I want her to know it was me. Yes, exactly. It was me. This is what's going to be, actually.
It was me, Barry. I made them draw Lola Bunny with fewer sexual features so that you wouldn't be horny and reduce your blood flow to make you a millisecond slower. Slow enough for me to kill Iris.
Remember when you were making out with your first girlfriend?
And you came right as she touched your leg? It was me, Barry. I jerked you off at super speed.
That's me in that situation. Oh, that's probably the copyright strike I'm gonna get on this one. But who cares? It's all good. It was worth it for the joke. Bite Chiapiodera, thank you for the super chat. Just don't be one of those that applies Save the Cat to novels. The amount of people who told me to use Save the Cat to help with an epic fantasy. No, God no, don't do that. Save the Cat works best with screenplays. It is a book designed with screenplays in mind. It is not a book designed with novels in mind, because the way a screenplay is written is vastly different than a novel. You gotta consider the mechanics of how to write a story, you know? A novel is written with dialogue, inner thoughts, descriptive punctuation, you know? It's all with that. With a screenplay, it's just dialogue tags, external action, so each page amounts to about a minute of screen time, whereas a book, an entire chapter can be 5 seconds, depending on how you write it. So different structure, different rules, follow different rules for different mediums. Kami Roxy, thank you for the super chat. I'm working on a Splatoon rewrite using AO3. I always make it clear I want people to give their opinion. I want my rewrite to show my writing skill, and you only get better getting other people's views. 100%. When I was in my early creative writing classes, the most essential thing was the group feedback. You pour your heart into what you're writing, you write it all down, you sit down, you present it to your peers, and they go into it. And they give you a fair shake at it, give you a fair response. And you learn something. You figure something out. I learned so much from feedback I got. Hey, Kylo, what's up? So many pieces of media can be benefited from feedback. Naruto 85 Ranzen Shuriken. In regards to improving sections of the original video in this case being the YouTubers are lying to you video, do you plan on making responses to either Literature Devil or John Delarose, and why they're bad faith grifters? Yeah. In fact, I have been working on my Discord. You may know about this. If you're on my Discord, by the way, Discord is open to Patreon members and YouTube members. I have been planning on working on a video about Comicsgate, the comic book Gamergate equivalent. I'm sending out some emails to people and messages to people who I know were involved with that to get if they want to talk about it. But I'm planning on a video about that. Hopefully within the next few months it will come out. And John Delarose and Literature Devil are both figures in Comicsgate. Not major members. Some, they wish they were major members, but they were part of it. So they're going to be involved in that big discussion as well. And it's a matter of just putting the piece together. John Delarose especially, I have a lot of dislike for. I dislike him far more than... Okay, so Lily I don't dislike. And actually, I see the real Dan the Man in there, so he knows full well. I don't hate Lily. I hate John Delarose. I cannot stand that person. He is excrement, in my opinion. He I genuinely do not like, so any chance I get, I will point to the fact that he's not a great person. So... John Delarose also has his own website that's gotten to that. Again, Pillar of Garbage did a great takedown of him too. Comicsgate is a topic. There's a lot of esoteric information on it. I'm going to make a video on it. John Delarose has done some garbage that I think deserves to be... what's the phrase? A good... Light is sometimes a great disinfectant. Yeah, I'm coming for them next. Believe me, I don't hate Lily Orchard. I think that she's dangerous to people. I think she's a cult leader in some regards, but I don't hate her. I think that, I wouldn't fight to get her channel removed. Though I did send YouTube on her butt, so I guess that's a mistake right there on my part. These people I actually have deep resentment for, and that will definitely motivate me to write do a very long video on them. Yeah, no. So John De La Rose, for those of you who don't know, he tried to essentially groom me as a useful idiot for him back in 2019, 2020, 2018 maybe. He would go in my DMs and be like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" Yada yada yada. Try to talk to me and everything. I think I even have an email from him too. I'm not gonna pull a Star Wars theory and like go through like 7-year-old emails because who cares about that? But I think his own actions speak for themselves. Yeah, no. Again, Lily is just one person. At the end of the day, she's not as she didn't create an entire hate movement that attacked real people working at Marvel and the creators themselves. She hated Rebecca Sugar, but it's not nearly as damaging as the particular obsessive abuse that this group had against Kelly Sue DeConnick or anyone of that like that. Anyway, so John De La Rose, he tried messaging me trying to get me to kind of be a useful idiot, to kind of attack other members of Comicsgate that he was opposed to, because he had like these weird rivalries with them. And I didn't know who this guy was. He's messaging me in like DMs on Twitter going like, "Oh yeah, how's it going?" Like, "Oh yeah, whatever, you know, that's just whatever." I had my DMs open at the time, so I didn't even think about it. And over time, people were like, "Hey, you know the guy's like an asshole, right?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" So, and then you find out about the guy and you realize, oh, he's trying to use you to benefit himself. And from then on out, he wrote tons and tons and tons of articles, and it was quite bad. Then he asked people if they harassed for jobs. Yes, then he tried to get me to hook him up with CBR, actually, when I was still writing for them. He was trying to get me to like review his work on CBR to promote them, essentially, to get more money for it. It was really garbage. Yellow Flash. Oh, that's a name I haven't heard since bizarrely recently, actually, not gonna lie. He blocked me on Twitter before he even had a big channel, so I have never really paid much attention to him. But yeah, no. So a lot of these guys, I deeply dislike, and I'm going to write about them. So, you know, that's coming out. That's coming sooner than later. So, but that's a couple months out. That's not Halloween. I'm not doing October. I'll probably conduct some interviews in October, but I'm not gonna really work on these videos in October. Because October is Halloween time. And Halloween time is for horror films. And I think that the feedback I've gotten over the last 8 months has put me in a position where I can make some really good stuff for you all. Working with people I've interviewed in the past, I've worked with in the past. I have a whole bunch of interviews I've conducted with friends of mine who are talented individuals. I've so far interviewed for some Halloween videos Jazzy Oliver, Chloe Sunflora, again, common friends of the channel. I've gotten interviews with a few other people too so far. Madeline May, YouTuber, Madeline May, I should say. Interviewed. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name. He's a really cool dude. He interviewed me around here. What's his name? I'm so drawing a blank on his name. It's really terrible. You'll know. I'll tell you in a second who it is. Crud, where is it? Where is he? Hang on. So it's a little while back. Where are you? Oh, here you go. Voices from the Mausoleum. He interviewed me a while back, and I interviewed him back. So he's coming in one of these videos as well. I'm gonna have to record with Crim soon. Crimson Ender. I'm gonna be interviewing Crystal Williams from the Gals Geekdom podcast. I'm gonna be interviewing Ashley Williams, not Bruce Campbell, but who's been on a few streams of mine. I interviewed Lizzie, who was on my Crow video again. So I'm talking to a lot of different people for these videos. It could be a lot of fun. It'll be a really cool set of videos about horror movies and scary stuff. The first of which comes out this Friday. It's going to be a video about cozy horror films. It'll be fun. Anyway, so yeah. Oh, De La Ruse also constantly tries to promote himself as the most prolific Hispanic science fiction author. Yeah, it's ridiculous. He always tries to like present himself as this big deal. all his money comes from his parents. He's mostly like a nepo baby, basically, as far as I know. Not a nepo baby, but he's like a trust fund kid. So, Comicsgate sounds like Watergate. Well, that can be traced back to the whole thing with Gamergate. Essentially, it's the same mentality. These reactionary groups are all the same. Anyway. This video is available for members currently, but it will be available on Friday for everyone else. And I think I really like the thumbnail for this too. It's a really cool thumbnail. Let me show you actually the thumbnail for this upcoming video. It's really quite cool. Where are we? Oh, right here, of course. This is Friday's video right here. Baichi Epodera, thank you for the super chat. Meanwhile, I write cosmic magic horror epic fantasy. I love that though. That's so cool. I love that magic cosmic horror epic fantasy, kind of like Madoka a little bit. But yeah, this is the thumbnail for Friday's video. I'm not sure if you can tell, but there are some spooky stuff in it. Quite a charming little video. Hope you enjoy it. But that's coming Friday, not currently yet. And what would it be if I didn't shill my later videos in these? So again, responding to criticism. Oh, who's the artist for this? Sai Scribbles, who has done a lot of Lily videos as well. I've worked with her on a couple things already, and she also commissioned her to do a thumbnail, the banner for my channel. I've already commissioned that already. I've worked with a few different artists. I like to rotate with artists I work with and talent I work with, because I want to make sure because I like a whole lot of people. I think that they're very talented and want to make sure I serve as a patron to their work, and I think they're all great. Another person who I've worked with is Lines in Motion, who is really great. In fact, Lines in Motion did the Bio-Erasure video right here. They did that thumbnail. Lines in Motion is right here, and they're a really cool YouTuber who you should watch. They are really quite something. They did a lot of really good videos. I think their video on Delicious in Dungeon is their most popular one. If you've seen this video, this is the person who's done the thumbnails for a lot of my videos, and they're fantastic as well. Sai is great. Lines in Motion are great. A lot of really good content creators out there who make some incredible art, and all you gotta do is find them and seek out their work, and you realize there's a whole new dimension to what they do beyond just YouTube videos. A lot of the people you watch online, they're creatives in more ways than one, you know? A lot of talent they have. Yeah. And you know, if I'm gonna support, I want to support their work. I think they all do great stuff, and they're willing to help me out, so be it. I'm not a very good thumbnail artist, I admit. So if they have the talent, I'm going to ask them. I'm going to defer to the experts. Their Blue Period vid. Yeah, it's a good vid. Yeah. All these people are very talented people. Tell them about my rapping Anthony. You're rapping. There you go. I'll tell you about that. That was fun. The pattern with blue-haired artists you work with. Yeah, I guess there is a pattern with blue-haired artists I'm working. Well, actually, Lines in Motion I don't think is blue hair. I don't think. So I don't think they have blue hair. I think they had a video with a. Oh, it's still under popular. Sorry. Yeah, they did a Q&A video. I'm pretty sure where they very clearly did not have blue hair. I guess they deleted the QA video. That's interesting. Okay, that's fine. Not important. Anyway, but yeah, they're pretty cool. Size. Oh, Sai. What's Sai's channel? Sai's channel is right here. I should say again, with fair warning, Sai does have. Sai doesn't have a censor. So sometimes she will say things that are controversial and possibly offensive. But yeah, I would say use a little caution if you're sensitive to some offensive language, because she is very offensive with some of her language. But yeah, no, a lot of really good stuff. And you know, again, all queer creators who, you know, I think I would like to support. Dan Harmon. What about Dan Harmon? Dan Harmon. Her thumbnail's a lot more clear and distinct than yours. Yeah, agreed. They're very clear and distinct, and they're very very neat. And again, okay. And Mystic Blue has done really great Pokemon art as well. I see you there. Absolutely fantastic art. In fact, there's so many artists who have done artwork in response to my videos and my content, and I want to celebrate that as well. So what I'm planning on doing is with my next, not this video I just worked, but the video after that, I want to showcase a lot of the artwork that people have drawn so far. I'm trying to think of the best way of doing that. I was thinking of doing like the thing that oh, what's her name? I'm trying to blank on her name. Jaden Animations does, where she like includes all the artwork, the fan art of her at the end of the credits of her videos. But like, it's some good stuff. It's some really good stuff, and I want to make sure I show all that. What's your opinion on Crapopolis? Crapopolis? Do you mean Megalopolis? Haven't joined in years. Kind of want to, but awful. No, you know, just try it out. You'll be good. But yeah, no. So I love how someone responded to criticism of this video. You got totally sidetracked. Because again, what even is like? Okay, so let's go back to responding to criticism, because that was kind of the point of this video. I do want to engage with a few points of criticism I've had, not just recently, but over the years. The NFT cartoon. What? What about NFT cartoons? Anyway. So again, there are a lot of videos I've gotten in terms of responses, in terms of comments, and some of them are fair. Again, one big piece of criticism I got from my Lily video, for example, Lily Orchard, this one right here. And I don't want to like engage with specific comments because I don't want to like I don't want to highlight anyone. I don't want to like be, oh hey, you random YouTube user, how dare you? I don't want to say that at all. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna read a few comments that I think have a certain pattern of actually, I'm not going to do that because it's going to be an exercise in futility. I did, however, look ahead before we started. One common issue with that video a lot of people had was they disagreed with my points. At a certain point, I say that Generation 2 Pokemon a lot of them are locked into the second half of the game. You can't access them or catch them in the first half, so you have to wait to the end. And I said, oh, well, you know, that's like their trophies or whatever, so it's worth the struggle to get them. But then people pointed out, you know, but you can't use them, you know? What are you going to use the Pokemon for? You can capture them, then what? There's nothing after that to use them for. And that's a fair point. That's a fair response. My opinion at the time of the recording was changed by your feedback. Because you put up a good counter argument, and I'm like, you know what? You're not wrong. That's a fair point. Lily was right about something. And a lot of people had to convince me of that point. But you did it. Congratulations. Again, a lot of these... okay. Feedback for Nuzlocke streams, which I gotta keep doing, by the way. I'm gonna do a Nuzlocke stream hopefully soon. Not this weekend, but maybe next week I can do that. Do the next part of Nuzlocke. Big empty space inside the left side of the screen to display your current party or fallen party members. I gotta figure out how to do that correctly. That's the one issue. I have trouble with organizing the screen like that and figuring out the right components, what have you. So that's a fair point. But yeah, no. So that right there is a case where feedback can help you grow. Feedback can help you develop. But again, the one video I made that had the most feedback ever was this YouTuber Critics Are Lying to You video. a video I made over 3 months ago is the most widely criticized video I've made. And while I disagree with a lot of the criticism, because a lot of it's not useful, a lot of it's just saying, you're gay, how dare you gay person, or, you know, oh, your bookshelf is ugly, or oh, you look stupid, or you sound dumb. That's not helpful to me. But saying, hey, your editing's unclear, your points aren't articulated well, your evidence seems not connected to what we're talking about. Now that is useful criticism. Because even if I think, you know, I think this editing choice does make sense. Oh, I think this clip does add something. The problem isn't that the clip didn't add something or the editing choice was bad. It's that the editing choice and the clip used didn't communicate the idea well enough. And that's the issue. Whether or not it actually has function in the narrative that you're constructing or in the argument you're putting together, if it doesn't communicate the idea clearly, it failed to communicate the idea at all. And why did it fail? Well, you didn't incorporate it well enough into the narrative. Again, this is why later videos did not get the same response this one did. Because I articulated my points better, which meant there's less room to criticize. This is why this Star Wars video, despite talking about one of the most controversial topics around, didn't get the same level of response that this one did. And why this bi-erasure video, despite talking about LGBTQA topics, has a much better like to dislike ratio. Because, simply put, the argument was stronger. Sometimes you gotta screw up, or not even screw up, but not produce something as good as you want it to be to improve. Oh yeah, the people from yesterday's stream are going to hate that you're quote-unquote fighting ghosts again, since you're talking about criticism you're responding to, instead of actually showing them. Well, what's there to show? So here's the thing. I don't think it's useful to just show a clip of someone else saying, oh, you did this wrong. What benefit does that serve to me? You know? How do I benefit from that? I showed a clip of Mahler before saying stuff. What am I going to do? Watch his 7-hour video on live? I don't want to be on live for 7 hours. Hell, it'd be 14 really if you want to give everything the time of day it deserves. So why do that? To yourself or the audience? The reality is simply this. If you don't learn from feedback, you can't develop better. It's one of you guys again. I see you. I saw you from yesterday's stream. There you go. Abhishek Verma. I think you're the one who said the fighting ghost one, right? Anthony should be able to make your own points instead of saying, watch this other YouTuber's vid, which makes my vid. Most people don't watch other vids. Even after recommendation, they should be for more. What are you talking about? I'm not sure what you're referring to with this one. I'm a little confused. Can you clarify what you're referring to? Again, you should make your own points instead of saying watch this other YouTuber's vid, which makes my point. Again, you're talking about the one video that I've already said I've acknowledged as flaws. So I'm a little confused by your feedback there. So again, with this feedback, you go, okay, hang on. This didn't clearly communicate something. Let's improve it. Let's do better next time. That's the only way of doing it, you know? So when people say, you got to engage with the criticism on live, let's debate people. Like, what am I going to debate, you know? I'm here to respond to criticism, which means listening to criticism. It's not a back and forth. I can say, hey, what did you think? You tell me what you think, and you go, okay, thank you for telling me. And then you take what's useful, and you use it to make better content next. I don't understand this whole mentality of responding to every bit of criticism beyond improving, beyond acknowledging it happens, and saying there are good pieces of feedback there that I can grow from. You know, so that's all it takes. And quite frankly, I don't, and people saying if you go on Mauler's stream, I don't want it to go to Mauler's stream. Heck, I barely have time for other people's streams that I know, let alone Mauler. No intention whatsoever. And besides, who cares? What am I going to talk about? A video I made 3 or 4 months ago? Like, I already did that yesterday. Every point I could make to Mauler, I made yesterday. That would be useful. So, what's the point of doing it a second time? Why would I repeat myself twice to talk about a video that I've already acknowledged isn't the best thing I've produced? Which has flaws that I think I've learned from, and difficulties I made making that video that I think I've learned from and made better content since. So, I don't like the idea that people are just going like, oh, you gotta show up these streams to debate people. No, not really. I mean, I went on yesterday because I thought it was a good argument to have and it was constructive. And I agree, it was a constructive argument. I do recommend taking a look at it. It went pretty well. But that's not every conversation. And I think also a big issue is a lot of people, when they have debates, they aren't interested in discussion. They're interested in yelling. One reason I agreed to yesterday was I went beforehand and I talked to Celtic Phoenix and went, hey, listen, you know, I'd be interested in discussing things with you, but I don't want it to be like a yelling debate. I don't want to be like us shouting over the other. Let's be respectful and just cool about it. Like, yeah, that sounds cool. And we agreed to a nice, respectful discussion that was constructive. I told him right away, I'm not here to debate. I'm just here to discuss. Like, I'm not here to argue I'm right, you're wrong. We're just here to talk about the video and, you know, come to a strong conclusion. You got to lay the terms out beforehand. You know, everyone has to be on the same page. You have to be genuinely analyzing what happened. And hey, not everyone's going to like your stuff. And that's cool, you know? You got to listen to people say who don't like your material to go, okay, hang on, what didn't you like about it? What? And not just say, oh, hey, you're wrong, or how dare you. No, you just listen to them. You say, oh, hey, what didn't you like about it? Okay, that's cool. At the end of the day, I think most of these online fights wouldn't happen if we were at a pub just chatting over a drink. I think 80% of arguments online would not happen if you were face-to-face and you heard the other person. My opinion, anyway. Yeah, you gotta be careful. Debates are dangerous because what happens is, unless you're both equally prepared for a debate and you're both skilled at public speaking, someone's gonna trip up or stumble over themselves, and it's gonna be about making the other person trip up over their words more than arguing ideas. I think that and you need a mediator. You need a middle person who can like manage the debate. Because if it's just two people talking, you're gonna get someone yelling over the other person, and that's not cool because that's not fun to listen to. It's you have to be careful. That's why I think responses are better than debates often, because responses can be the unfiltered response to engage with an idea. Personally, yes, Innuendo Studio. I'm seeing that right now. Megaritz, thank you for mentioning that. Innuendo Studios did a recent video on bad faith. Why don't you respond to criticism? And I think it's a great video that, unfortunately, everyone's favorite person has been obsessively using as evidence as to why she doesn't respond to her critics. Let's see if I can find that. They've been like, sorry, no way, not you. Where was it? Everyone's favorite person has been using this. I can't find it. Anyway, basically, Lily Online has been using that one Innuendo Studios' most recent video as evidence as to why she refuses to engage with my feedback. And you know what? This video right here. You know what, though, Lily? Here's the thing. You don't have to respond to my feedback. You really don't. It's fine if you don't. You're allowed not to. I think that it will be to your net benefit to engage with the feedback, to improve, but you don't have to. It's entirely your choice. It is your choice to engage. It is your choice to not engage. That's fine. I personally want to engage, and I have responded to criticism not perfectly all the time. There have been occasions where I've dismissed it outright. Maybe that was wrong. I don't know. I do recommend watching this video on why don't you respond to criticism. I think it's a really good debate on why bad faith criticism sometimes is bad. But actually, I'll play it a little bit right now for y'all.
Say, for the sake of argument, you're the kind of progressive lefty with a platform who gets a share of harassment, seasonal or perennial, from reactionaries. In this situation, you will inevitably hear one who positions themselves as a reasonable moderate ask, why don't you respond to criticism? There's a lot going on in that question, more than is immediately obvious, and it's worth understanding. First, is that the question is not only directed at you, it exists as a marker showing up in your Q&As, your comment sections, your Twitter threads, to imply to anyone paying attention to you that there is some wealth of legitimate criticism that you have long ignored. There may well be a specific point this person is referring to, but it's often left unspecified or generalized, so that...
Now, I think to an extent, this is a fair statement, but I do want to say this as well that's really, I think, useful. I think even the idea of responding to criticism like this is counterintuitive to engaging with criticism. I come from the world of publication, of writing, you know? In this world, you get criticism all the time. Do you know how you respond to it? You listen to it and you grow from it. That's your response. That's the best response you can give. You're not looking for someone to go, oh, hey, I want to speak to this specific thing right now and talk about it. No, you show your response by doing better. You get better. You get good. You get better at the craft. You get better at your talent. You get better style. You get better focus on how you phrase things. That is your response. That is the best response to criticism. That is your idea of engaging with criticism. You take what they say and you be better as a result. Or it's negative and you say, fuck it, who cares? That's what it comes down to. Mahler saying my bookshelf sucks, fuck it, who cares? Mahler saying your editing doesn't work, well, okay, why is my editing not communicating the ideas I'm looking for? It's that simple. I don't care if it's Mahler, Celtic Phoenix, or any other one of my critics. You know, good faith or bad. You say, I'm not communicating my ideas well enough. Well, what am I not communicating? What about it is not hitting the mark quite right? And you go, well, it's your evidence. Maybe the phrasing's wrong. Maybe the way you said it is wrong. Okay, what's wrong about it? What can I do next time that's better? And that's how I engage with criticism. I don't need to issue a massive video saying, point by point, here's what you said, here's why I think you did it right. That's not useful. What's that going to do? It's going to be engagement with just the one person's idea, and you never make your own content because you're so busy point by point by point engaging with the ideas presented. It's not useful. And again, saying that you're bad isn't really good. Again, my discussion yesterday was purely constructive. It was multiple people sitting down and going, okay, here's the video. Here's what we didn't like about it. Here's what we didn't like about it. Here's why we didn't like these parts. And going like, hey, why'd you choose to do that? Hey, that's a fair statement. Hey, it's not saying you're wrong. It's saying, you know, these points we didn't gel with. What's going on with that? The best kind of discussion you can have. The best kind of constructive, critical discussion you can have about it. That's good. Saying my bookshelf sucks a lot. My hair sucks. I can't. What's that going to serve? You know? Who cares about that? Saying your editing's rough. Saying your points aren't well articulated. Hey, that's something to talk about. Because even if maybe your audience thinks they were well articulated, that means that maybe you could do it better. And thus, make something better for your audience as a result of that. Make something good. The problem is it's all optics, this whole back and forth with criticism. It's about showing I'm not terrible, I can respond. You know, who cares? Take the ego out of it and just do better next time. That's my opinion. And again, there are other pieces of feedback that you get which are just garbage, you know? Insults to your appearance. I got tons of that. The Mahler video calling me smug. Well, okay. Okay, whatever. You know, I can't fix that. but I can fix editing. I can fix writing. I can fix research. Those are things that can affect. But them saying my continence is smug, well, okay, I can't fix that. Your interpretation of my personality is your interpretation. It's just dunking on someone at a certain point, and it's like, okay, well, whose benefit is that for? And it's for their audience. Ultimately speaking, what watching a Mauler video on stream would do for me, very little. What it would do for Mauler, quite a bit. And quite frankly, I'm not a content machine for someone else. I'm not going to be someone else's vending machine for material. I'm going to make what I want to make, and if they respond to it, that's cool. But I'm not going to anchor myself to someone else's criticism from 3 months ago. Like, no. I listened to it, I took what was useful, and I moved on. Simple life. Gas Station Candy, thank you for the super chat. Debates online these days turn into, I drew you as the cringe soy jack, and myself as the base Chad. I win. Yes, entirely. 100%. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And this is even true for, like, things that, you know, people I like even. You know, it's like, we have to engage with ideas. This is why I've never insulted Lily on a personal level in my videos. Well, I told her to go. I've said some vulgarities, but I didn't ever insult anything about her that she couldn't. Never called her arrogant, never called her stuck up or anything like that, because that's not really. I don't like doing that. I don't think it's useful. I don't think it's helpful to make personal insults at someone. It's just mean. And I don't want to be a mean person. I want to engage with ideas, but I don't want to be mean about it. I think smug and arrogant tend to be roughly synonyms for confidently disagrees with me. People we disagree with tend to come across as smug almost inevitably. Yeah, that's also true. Smug is an easy insult because it can mean anything. Anyone's like, oh, look at how smug that guy is. Like, okay, so what? This actually happened in the recently art community. Yeah. So your hair's improved. Yeah, because I got a haircut. I didn't freaking film this when I was like, you know, I don't know what I was doing. I don't know why my hair looked like that in that video. That was bad. Again, people are saying like my hair is weird sometimes. My hair can be weird. My hair does strange stuff. I play with it a lot. I tend to, like, even on like streams, I'll fuck around with it, you know. And I like my hair a little longer because I just like how it falls. I like messing with it. When I was younger, I had my hair like really short, and it annoys me. Well, if every time you've insulted, if every time you insulted called Lily Si's done double in trouble. Yeah, Si goes for the throat. That's not me though. Dangle Bangle, thank you for the super chat. The crying soy jack bad faith debate meme tactic is integral to this new era of neo-digital fascism. Yeah, 100%. A lot of people will use that to dismiss their adversaries and present certain people as like higher up. And like, again, that's just not what I do. I'm not a soy jack person. When you respond to criticism in a small sentence, then they reply in long paragraphs. I hate that. Yeah, that's also true. Like, I personally think that it's, you know, what are you going to say? What are you going to say? Someone says, I don't think this was well phrased. Okay, well, what about it wasn't well phrased? They give you a paragraph and you're like, okay, thank you. What else do you guys say? And a lot of people will criticize my videos without having watched the video. A lot of the comments on my bisexual SpiderMan video, the people responding didn't watch my video. So it's like they just saw the topic, left a comment, then clicked out of it. I'm like, okay, what am I going to say to you? Like they said, well, why do you think Peter Parker should be gay? I'm like, well, I didn't say that. So already we're off to a great start. Funny how they say you're smug yet have rags in the team. Yeah, 100%. Reason number 5, I'm not going to go on a Mauler stream ever. I really think he's not a good person. But again, your hair looks great out of the way. Messed up crooms. Well, thank you. I think my hair looks messy all the time. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure you've described Lily as an egomaniac and comment to that extent. Yeah, I would say she's arrogant, certainly. But I don't think it's fair to say that when arguing a specific point. I would say she's arrogant as an insult outside of that point. But I think it's dangerous to say, when discussing Lily's ideas, saying, oh, you're arrogant, therefore you're wrong. No, just let's engage with the ideas, see why the idea itself is poorly articulated, poorly phrased, and then you can insult them afterwards. I'm kidding. People respond based on what they assume is in the video. This is faster than actually watching the video. Speed running the comment writing process. Yeah, it's a problem too. People have no patience. They just want to dive right into the ideas without actually getting into the ideas, you know? And again, the problem there becomes, what are you actually arguing? You know, what are you discussing? What's the point of it? I don't know. It's very depressing to me because I feel like the discussions we have online are so based on what we're discussing, you know, what we're talking about. And I think that responding to criticism as a metric of, is your argument sound? It's very messy. It's very, very messy. Again, any specific questions you have about this specific video, just watch this video right here. I tackle all the things you want to hear me say. They ask me in person, I say, why'd you do this? Well, I do it for this reason. Or why'd you do this thing? It's right there. I'm not going to repeat what I said there. I feel like I said it well enough the first time. And it's a 5-hour video. If you want to hear everything, there you go. But right here, for this intent, what we get is what we get. All I want to do is just keep making better material for everyone. I want to make content that's entertaining and meaningful and exciting. And I have a lot planned ahead that's going to be really cool. And it's kind of remarkable, you know? This started 8 months ago. And honestly, this is my most controversial video. Not this one. In terms of likes to dislikes, the most... I'm going to show you, actually. Yeah, I'm going to show you right now. Let me give you a look behind the curtain, right? You ready for this? Let's do it. This is the back end of YouTube. Here we are. We've arrived. This is the back end. Now, I want you to take a look specifically at this column at the far right end. Now, this video right here, YouTube critics are lying to you. It has a ratio of 86.6% likes to dislikes. So 15,998 likes versus 2,400 and what was the number? 68. Not a bad ratio. That's an 86.6. That's a passing grade. Now, let's take a look elsewhere. My most controversial video is my first one. That one has a ratio of 1,334 likes to 605 dislikes. That's a 68.8%. That's a failing grade. In terms of my likes and dislikes, that's how it goes. Oh, can you actually? I'm not even sure you can. No, you can't rank them by that, unfortunately. Again, different videos have different ratios. So another video that has a worse like to dislike ratio than my YouTube critics are lying to you video. And as my Star Wars video. That one has a 78.8% like ratio. So, and that one's more well liked, quite honestly. It's a video that no one has given a bad response to in like a YouTube response video. They just dislike it. So, what does it tell me? Again, that's probably because they dislike it because they disagree with my ideas. That's fine. You disagree with me, that's fine. That's not going to be useful constructive criticism. Saying you don't like my ideas, well, that's okay. But saying the way I articulate my ideas, that's flawed. That's problematic because I got to fix it better that way. Most of these videos have a pretty decent like to dislike ratio because I do a good job, you know? The Harry Potter one is a decent one too, 89.1%. That's another passing grade. I'm good with that. I can live with that. But yeah, that's that. That's a simple little metric you can use to measure whether or not the video is solid. You know, whether or not the video had a good response to it. And I'm happy to report most of my videos are positively, they regard to it positively. They have a good response to it. People tend to like my stuff. That's good. You know, that means I'm doing something right. And if they dislike it, then I could do better next time. It's that simple. Yeah, Star Wars is a mess. My Star Wars videos are always controversial because Star Wars is a dumpster fire, essentially. The fandom is crazy. I love the fans, and the fandom is terrifying to me because it's a little ridiculous, some of them. Yeah, Star Wars is... Every time I touch upon Star Wars, people get angry. A lot. People get really pissed about Star Wars. They have a lot of feelings about it. And the thing is, at the end of the day, what are you going to do, you know? Someone says your video sucks. Okay, well, they don't have to watch anything else I do, so who cares? I care more about people who watch my videos regularly saying, hey, you know, I like your stuff. This one video didn't do it for me, man. Hey, that means more to me than anything else. Because I like saying, people say, hey, you know, I like your stuff generally. This wasn't it. That does a lot. Yeah. People have any reason for liking or disliking things, and that's fine. I can live with that. Just want to make sure I do better next time, if possible. Yeah, this was not going to be a long stream today. I'm kind of like burned out a little bit from this last week. It's been a lot of work. For a small YouTuber, your thumbnail game's on point. Well, actually, what's funny is I'm terrible at thumbnails. So of these thumbnails right here, I designed this one and this one. And this bottom row. But, as I said before, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, I reached out to other artists to make. Because I know my shortcomings as a creator, and I know when to trust someone else with better judgment. It's a shame this video right here didn't get as many clicks, because I think I put a lot of work into it. And this thumbnail is great. Didn't get the attention I think it deserves. If you haven't seen this one yet, take a look. No, I'm not that great. I'm okay with thumbnails, but I also know other people have talent with the visualness that they're just better at, you know? My thumbnails I'm not super big on. Like I did this one, did this one, did this one. Most of the thumbnails before, actually all the thumbnails before this one, the flattening of Disney, I did. And they're okay. Yeah, it's a little hard to read, I agree. That's the one issue too, I think. Still waiting to hear from folks with feedback on some of my Bonnie's Days Out panels. Yeah, so if you haven't seen... you know what? Actually, send me a link later. I'll post it in the community. She's essentially creating a redesign of the Pokemon Madhouse comics that Lily Orchard worked on, like a reinvention of it. It's quite interesting. Send it to me again. I'll post it in the community so more people can see it outside of Tumblr and everything like that, because I think it's a lot of hard work you're putting into it. I think it deserves like all the attention, and your artwork is fantastic. Star Wars Ruined is legendary. Star Wars is just a mess. Hey Mystic, what's your X on Tumblr? I want to follow you. Yeah. Put your socials in. Right now you're in the early phases, but your artwork for it's fantastic. Your artwork for the Pokemon Nuzlocke has been fantastic, and you drew me as a werewolf, which will be relevant in the future. Baichi Epiodera, thank you for the super chat. This is a super chat for chat. The villain video is the best video. Changed my mind. It's a good video. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I just wish it was got more attention. That's the only thing. But that's, you make the way the game is. You make stuff You keep making stuff, and eventually you make something that's really big. And that's why it comes down. You keep producing until you make something gigantic, and then you just keep making more. Persona review. There will be personas in one of my videos, I'll say that, because next week I'm doing a werewolf video. Next week is my gigantic, when I say gigantic, I mean really gigantic werewolf video. I've already commissioned a thumbnail for it. It's gonna be a lot. I like the tips video better because Ant says fuck. Yeah. Yeah, when I say that, a lot of people love that. Again, the werewolf video essay I'm really excited about. And I got to collaborate with some really cool people on that one. In fact, this whole month is going to be a lot of collaboration. I'm really excited for how the next Halloween cycle is going to be. This week, it's a relaxed video. It's nice. It's short. It's easy watching. It's cozy. It's just going to feel nice watching it. And then next week, we get big giant dogs. That's how it goes. That's how it be. So I'm going to probably cut this stream off a little early only because I'm just really worn out. I did a 5-hour stream yesterday. I can't do that 2 nights in a row. So we're going to cut it off a little early tonight, but I really appreciate you guys for showing up and for coming to all these videos. You know, I think I have some ideas for Halloween. I joked around about reading horror stories. I don't want to do that. Maybe some public domain stuff would be fun. And when Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero comes out, I'm going to play that game on stream. And none of you can stop me. Because that game looks incredible. It's everything I've wanted to play in a game since I was in middle school. I streamed on Celtic Phoenix's channel. Again, if you're just catching them right now, I have the video right here. This video right here was where I streamed. It is a 5-hour video going into all of the details of my YouTube Critics Are Lying to You video and some common criticisms people have of it and my responses to it. If you want my opinions on that, it's there. Unfortunately, the video was so thorough that I ran out of material to talk about tonight. Thank you, Celtic Phoenix, for undercutting this tonight's stream by being thorough. How dare you? And again, that's that. All that being said, though, I do want to also do some more rewrite videos, like the Pokemon rewrite video, but maybe different. Maybe I'll do it for maybe Dragon Ball GT when Sparkling Zero comes out. Maybe we can use the what if mode to like augment the video content. That'd be kind of cool, I think. But again, yeah, no, this is all some really good stuff, and I think the conversation about media, about what we have, you know, it all helps. It all helps me improve, and it all helps us improve collectively. If you are in a creative field and you receive criticism, and it's constructive, do not dismiss it. Listen to it. Hear what they have to say. See outside your perspective, because you only have room to grow. And it sucks sometimes. It sucks being criticized. It's not fun. But it is an avenue through which you can improve. So, I'm going to cut it off here because my spouse is like upset I haven't spent enough nights with them. So, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. And hopefully, if you have any criticisms of my current videos and current content, the future material will be better and demonstrate that I listen to everything you say. So there you go. So, thank you so much. Yeah, I know. You got here right as the stream started. Yep. So, there you go. All right. We're going to end it early because I am dead tired and I'm going to spend a lot of time tomorrow looking up werewolf footage. So, there you go. All right. What we got over here? EFAP pointed out you were saying the viewer to watch other YouTubers to make your point instead of making your own because most won't watch them. Okay, actually, okay. Hang on. Actually, you know what? Come back, chat. Come back. I lied to you. We're not done yet. That's a good point. Let's talk about that for a second. Sorry. Again, bringing it back now, I see. Apishik Verma says, EFAP pointed out you were saying the viewer to watch other YouTubers to make your point instead of making your own because most won't watch them. No, I was citing other YouTubers because I wanted to cite other people who I wanted to celebrate. That's it. Are you referring to the Dead Domain video where I said watch Dead Domain? Yeah, I'm gonna say watch Dead Domain's video because it's good. I'm gonna say, yeah, watch Sai's video because it's thorough, you know? Watch Hiding in Public's or Hiding in Private's video because it's good. That's why I did it. I didn't do it because I was trying. They were gonna make the point for me. I'm saying, hey, watch these videos because they're solid, and it's a good expansion. It's a points reference. It is what you might call a works cited page in theory. Were there better ways of articulating the ideas those videos said? Yeah, but I don't regret saying watch those videos. They're good videos. For X, many of them were very long, like 1 or half an hour. Yeah, well, you all told me to watch EFAP's video. It's 7 hours long. You know? Like, that argument goes out the window when you tell me to watch a 7-hour response video. If you say, I told you to watch an hour-long video or a 40-minute-long video, okay, well, you also told me to watch a 7-hour video. That's kind of a bit more of a time commitment than that, you know? It's more of a further reading, a further reference. You know, back in the old days when you write essays, you'd have a list of works cited. You'd say, oh, hey, here are a list of works that you can engage with beyond the point because they're interesting and they're good. Watch this or read this, keep going, you know? I mean, all of them, and they were long to be included as main points. Well, they weren't really main points, though. They were just cited works saying, oh, hey, you want to read more? Watch this. That's what they were. I've watched Dead Domain's vid. It was terrible. They basically said censorship of Stellar Blade was justified because Baldur's Gate 3 is well written. That's not what they said at all, actually. Also, Dead Domain's content is really good. That video is really solid, I thought. I still think it's really solid. Yeah, no. So I'm a little confused with what you're going with on this one. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm not seeing eye to eye with you on that one. Sorry, man. Hey, Ant, what is your Discord? Well, if you're a member to my channel, you have my Discord. It's accessed if you're a member of the channel or a patron. Otherwise, unfortunately, I've closed off Discord membership from the public for now because, you know, I want to make sure it's a little exclusive. If you're a member, you can have a one-time payment. You get in. Not a big deal in that sense. You know, I mean, it's a big deal if you don't want to spend the money, but, you know, or you don't have the, or you, it's, you know what I'm trying to say. EFAP's response was to a misinterpretation of the last point of the video, to be honest. Yeah, that's also fair. A lot of, and the funny thing is with the EFAP video I found very strange was that they were so offended by it personally. Yeah, I didn't reference any of them in the video. I made one reference to one of their videos, said it was long, and that's about it. But I guess because they're so used to hearing long man is bad, they heard that and took it the wrong way. Anyway. And I need to save money for the birdhouse and stuff, though, and groceries. Yeah, that's also fair. 100% fair. Yeah, again, recommending people who I likes videos, I'm going to recommend people watch videos all the time. I think there's some good videos I can recommend. I do it all the time in the comment section. I recommend videos constantly because there's some good videos out there and they deserve to be seen. And if a video is incorporating ideas that I am also using, I'm going to want to reference that video because to not do that would be stealing the ideas that video presents. If you don't cite videos in your video, you're just doing what James Summerton did, you know? So that's very important. You got to make sure you allude to that because the alternative is you don't and you're plagiarizing, which is not something I ever want to do. I was pissed off when James Summerton was exposed for plagiarism. I would never want to do that. I don't want to cite. If I have an idea and it's even remotely like what someone else said, I'm gonna cite them anyway. People with my Harry Potter video, for example, kept referencing Sean's Harry Potter video, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? There is overlap in the ideas because we're all drawing from the same well. We're all responding to the same text with the same political lens. Yeah, they're gonna sound similar. I didn't see Sean's video at the time, but I've since watched it. Yeah, he makes a lot of points that are like mine. I make some points that are different, but there are a lot of points that are similar because we're analyzing the video from the same political perspective. So yeah, there's going to be overlap. It's not a ripoff. We happen to have read similar texts and have similar political ideas and responded to that. And that's cool, you know? I kind of wish I did reference Sean's video in that video, though, because, quite frankly, there is overlap and people were and even that had a research error on my part. A fairly big one with the... Oh, what was it? The Percy Jackson. Rick Riordan. The Rick Riordan article I cited it as like a problematic thing because I thought the article was saying the opposite of what it actually said because I misread it. I was rushed for time. I read the article quickly, and I thought, oh yeah, this is saying this one thing. Meanwhile, it was saying the complete opposite of what I thought it was saying. And that's my error. That's my screw up. 100%. I referenced it in the comments, but that's not nearly enough. But, you know, hey, that's an error on my part. You sent schematics for the Nuzlocke stream layout. Oh, perfect. I'll incorporate that for the next one, which hopefully will be next week or so. Hopefully. Again, that's my error. That's my mistake. What am I going to do about it? Well, not do it again, basically. Is the only thing you can do. You can't go back and fix the video. You can only just keep moving forward. Long vids are not bad, but when you say watch a Steven Universe vid, which people don't know nothing about, they have to watch the whole vid to understand your point. Your vid being long is not bad. Listen, okay, I'm a little confused what you're saying. In my original video about YouTubers, I didn't say that the long reviews are bad. I said that long reviews aren't utilizing their length effectively. Look, I have a video on here that's 4.5 hours long. You know? I'm not saying long videos are bad. I'm saying poorly used length is bad. Length is not a feature. It is a side effect of your ideas. If you have a lot of ideas, a lot of topics, a lot of time is needed to discuss the ideas thoroughly, you gotta have the video use the time wisely. If you don't use the time wisely, you're wasting people's time. I think that certain long videos don't use their time effectively. They just ramble and go on and on and on. Especially video essays. A stream is one thing you're making up as you go along with the stream. But with a video essay, you have complete control over how much you write, how much is focused on, and some video essays don't need to be 7 hours long. You know? And your point about long videos is right, and Mahler has addressed it in his video about art analysis already. Well, I didn't fucking watch Mahler's video. What are you gonna do? I didn't watch his videos. I barely watch. I don't think I've ever really gone out of my way to watch anything he's ever done because I don't think his stuff is interesting to me personally. Like, I don't find that type of analysis compelling. You know, I don't find the whole... I personally do not find the whole... If I watch a movie and pause every 3 seconds to stop and just analyze a shot, each individual shot, I don't find it a very effective way of criticism. I don't find it like a very redundant way of criticizing something. I think it's very yeah, you could break something down second by second by second, but you're going to miss how the pieces coalesce because you're so focused on the minutia. You miss the forest for the trees. I think you got to look at the forest and the trees, you know? If you're so focused on the leaves, you're going to miss the trees. You're looking so much at the trees, you're going to miss the forest. How everything comes together. So it's just not something I find interesting. I'd rather find an argument that makes it more concise. Uses evidence, sure, but a little more concise. Specifics, hones in on the ideas. And quite frankly, just because one person said something similar to what I said doesn't mean that what I said wasn't useful, you know? Everyone has a different way of articulating their thoughts. Everyone has a different scope and perspective. So who cares if one guy said something this way? I said it this way. It was similar, but doesn't mean that the first person to say it has ownership of the idea exclusively. There is a 7-hour video on debunking Flat Earth, and it uses its time very well. Tons of substance in each hour. Yeah, 100%. 7 hours, 10 hours, you can use that time very well if you're very focused on what you're saying. You gotta use your time wisely. And his vids are that long because he points out whether it was the current Marvel films is making sense with other past movies and lore and mechanics, and then he summarizes its point later so people won't forget. Yeah, but you can do that without being 7 hours long. That takes 5 seconds. I've seen people who make 15-minute videos do that. You know? Like, you can do that without having to, like, make the video 7 hours long. It's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. You said you're going to go decompress and spend time with your wife. Yeah, I know, right? I'll be down momentarily. But that's it right there. I think that with that topic, I think, you know, you got to use your time wisely. If you're too verbose, too long, too overdrawn out, you kind of go in, you go, okay, well, that's not effective. That's not useful. I don't think it's helpful. I personally don't find his reviews all that compelling, personally. I don't find them very, for my money, and this is again subjective opinions here, but I find anyone who claims they have objective skill criticizing something, I think they're lying. Quite frankly, I don't believe it. Yeah. Making the fucking how's it going? No, I think if anyone says they have an objective way of criticizing media, they're lying. They're lying. There we go. Exactly. Cut out the rambling. Again, I'm rambling on stream, but I'm not rambling in my videos, ideally. So yeah. Anyway, I do want to wrap up around now because I am getting tired. It's been a long couple of weeks, and I'm going to shout out the real Dan the Man, who may still not be in chat, I'm not sure. I interviewed him. I got interviewed by him for a recent video of his he's working on. This was on Monday night, so every night this week I've done some interview or another. But yeah, it's been cool stuff. So, another thing, you put text on the screen, please stop people. That's already been addressed. I've already talked about that multiple times. The text on screen stuff. So again, here's the thing. To summarize what I'm saying, if you're asking me to respond to individual pieces of criticism verbally, well, great. I don't care about that, though. I care about responding in the content I make. That is my response. Every piece of content I make is a response to the feedback I received on the previous parts, because each of these pieces draws from experience in the previous one. Each thing builds on the next. That's how it goes. He doesn't rant in his vids. They are very well edited. Okay, well, if you say so. I don't agree. I think he really does rant quite a bit. I can't speak to his editing, but from what I've seen, he does tend to ramble. But that's fine. That's my opinion. You know, he can take it or leave it. Chances are he won't take it. But, you know, I don't think that the idea that you have to respond to every piece of criticism verbally, directly, is useful. It's better to take it all in hand and make something better next time. Anyway, I'm going to stop now because I'm going to keep going on. That's my biggest problem. I keep going when I should stop. And I'm going to stop right now. So thank you, everyone, for showing up to this great stream. My spouse is downstairs probably watching The Masked Singer or something like that because, you know, actually it's okay. I waited until The Masked Singer ended so I wouldn't have to watch that show. I can't stand it, but I digress. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. This Friday we have a nice cozy video coming up, and then next week it's werewolves. So, have a good one. Take care, y'all.